Well, I lived in Albany Creek for 16 years and I've lived in Warner for 4 years. So I've lived in the area for quite a while. I've brought up my family here, so 3 boys. I have a granddaughter now, and I've also been broken into 4 times in that 20 years. I don't feel safe in my own home anymore at all. I've got to lock myself in the house every day. I look at Facebook every day and I see people in my area being broken into nightly. Cars being stolen, people's garages being broken into. It's actually quite scary. So my feeling when I vote next will be very undecisive because I don't know who I'm voting for really, because it could change in a minute.
Having lived in this area for 29 years, there's been huge changes. Dolly's Rocks Road was all pineapple farms and no houses. And of course North Lakes has gone up and it's massive, it's a city up there. And that used to be just bush with cows grazing, and I really liked it better back then, but that's progress. It's still lovely living here, it's not too busy. Well, they could do with more parks. There's not very many parks around for the children. And of course the traffic's always a terrible problem, but that's just the amount of people that live here now. My mum was in a nursing home and Peter Dutton used to visit quite a lot, the old people there, and I actually made a slice for morning tea once, and so he's eaten some of my slice. A very nice man and lovely with the old people. So I think Peter Dutton is a very good man and does a very good job. We're not fond of Bill Shorten. I don't trust him, he tells lies. No, we don't like Bill Shorten.
Been living in this area about 15 years. The local facilities around this area, I believe, are getting better in the time that we've been here. This shopping centre has come along in this period. We've also got other things like sporting facilities and things that are actually on the agenda, but we're still waiting on them yet to be built. So we're not sure what time frame we're talking about for that. I think they are trying to organise the traffic situation a little bit better, but it still needs a lot of improvement, I believe. My husband travels through to Geebung every morning, and I know traffic can make a big difference with regards to how long it takes him to get there. My son, he travels locally as well, but he's a shift worker, so it doesn't impact on him as much. But with my daughter-in-law, who's currently on maternity leave, she travels right into the city. And that's really quite a distance for her to drive, especially to then be coming home late at night with young children. So I think the traffic, although they are trying to make a difference with the flow, it still has a long way to go. I think that if we get this new on-ramp for people heading north from this area, it would be good because it saves us going back up through to the North Lakes area to be able to get onto the ramp there, which is where a lot of the congestion actually begins. So if we could get on before the congestion, that would make a big difference, I think, for people from this area travelling towards the city and north, basically. The federal member in this area of Dixon is Peter Dutton. I have heard of Peter in the whole time that we've actually been living in this area. I know people that actually know Peter quite well, and you know, they talk very, very highly of him. Anything that I hear in the news about him is generally quite positive. He seems to be a very proactive politician, a man of his word, and I think somebody that at least is a bit of a doer. So I think that's one thing that this area does need.
I have lived in Kalanga for over 40 years and I've seen a lot of changes during that time. It's grown. There were times here there weren't bitumen roads. We had Dolly's Rocks Road wasn't sealed. It was just bushland all the way down there. Around here, there was nothing going on really, and all of a sudden it's really developed quite suddenly, and I think a little bit too quickly. When we first came here, it was young families. The Kalanga School, primary school, was one of the biggest schools in Brisbane. A lot of young families, young children, older people, because it was a farming community years ago. There wasn't a great deal of housing development, North Lakes went ahead. That was the new housing development in the area, and Kalanga Strathpine got left behind. Federal government, I wish they'd stop the infighting and get on with their jobs and give some confidence back to Australia and Australians.